Good evening. So we decided 7:30. So hopefully some people will turn up to the live this evening. We didn't really decide on a product, but the poll kind of leaned mostly towards the One for All Balm. So I think that's what I'm going to talk about this evening. So it was quite close. The One for All Balm and the deodorant was close in the poll, but hi, how are you? So the One for All Balm and the deodorant were quite close, but I'm going to go with the One for All Balm first, and then I will talk about the deodorant next week. So if you have any questions at all about the One for All Balm, just pop it in the comments there and I will answer them. I'll do my best to answer them, and I will just kind of generally chat about the product so that it's kind of like as if you were at a market and I can tell you about the product. So a One for All Balm. So I don't know, have you seen it before? So this is the One for All Balm. We have a couple of different kind of options in the balm. So this is going to be kind of like its origin story. So I originally made this balm for my daughter. Okay, so she has eczema and she had it really, really badly around her eyes at one stage. So it was kind of, I'd say just after the second lockdown, as we were coming out of the second lockdown, she was going back to school and she had it like all around her eyes, really, really red and raw. And the only thing the doctor would give me was a steroid. And like, as you know, if you have a steroid and you're going to put it on the eyes, it's going to sting. So we were like battling with her to put this cream on her eyes, knowing that she was going to be crying and it was going to hurt her, knowing that I was crying because I was trying to pin her down to get this cream on her eyes. She was crying because she knew it was going to sting. So I kind of like went down the road of trying to make something that would help her, soothe the redness, kind of help with the itch, and just generally make it look a little bit less irritated. So that's what the One for All Balm came from. So that's the origin story. So what's in it is, it has 5 different herbs in it. So it has calendula, lavender, chickweed, oats and chamomile. So all those herbs are in there for their own specific kind of healing properties. So the first one is calendula. So calendula is one of my absolute favorites. I love calendula. It's so amazing for the skin. So calendula, what it does is it speeds up the skin turnover and helps to heal anything that's irritated on the skin. So when you have something like eczema, your chances are you're going to be scratching, you're going to damage the skin, you're going to cut it. So the calendula is going to help to heal that a little bit quicker. Then the lavender is in there so that when you're scratching, you're obviously going to cut yourself, and then those cuts can easily get infected, especially around the eyes. So the lavender is antimicrobial, so it kind of helps to stop any infections, anything getting too inflamed or on the skin, anywhere around the eyes, wherever. So then the third thing that's in there is chamomile. And the chamomile is in there because obviously the itch is chronic when you have something like that, and like with little kids it's really hard. Stop itching. But chamomile will really help with itch. Even if you have just a chamomile tea bag and you make a chamomile tea and put it on whatever is itchy, that will really help. So that's the third herb that's in the One for All Balm. Then we have chickweed. So chickweed is an absolutely amazing weed. It grows in patches in the ground where the ground has been disturbed and where the soil is broken. So that kind of will give you a little idea as to what the chickweed will help with. So basically it helps with broken skin and helps with inflammation. So if you have that redness and that heat that you get with eczema or psoriasis, that's what the chickweed will help with. It's going to help kind of calm all that down. And the fourth thing that's in there, or the fifth thing, sorry, that's in there is oats. So I use Flavin's oats, right? So they're like your porridge oatlets, whatever, and then I just grind them up and it gets into the oil that way. So then what the oats does is, like, oats are always recommended when you have eczema. So what they do is they just really moisturize the skin. Hi Tara, how are you? So oats are super for moisturising the skin. So even if you have someone who has eczema, if you get like an old pair of tights and you put some oats into it and you run the bath water through that, it'll kind of give you like a milky residue that'll come out. And if you put that onto whatever is really sore and itchy and inflamed, it's going to help to moisturise that and kind of soothe it a little bit. So they're the 5 herbs that are in the One for All Balm. Now, what I always also decided to do then afterwards, like this is kind of later down the line, is to make a, sorry, I've got it here behind me. So it is a baby One for All Balm. Okay, so that's the peach label compared to the purple label if you're looking at them there in the shop. So the peach label, what the difference is this has no oats in it. Okay, so there's 2 reasons that this has no oats in it. The first reason is that oats, obviously, if you're celiac or if you've gluten intolerance, you can't use the One for All Balm. And you'd be surprised how many products actually, like especially hair products, have oats in them, and it's really, really difficult for people who are celiac to find products that they can use. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason that doesn't have oats in it is when you are weaning. So like this one is suitable from 1 month plus, right? Whereas this one is suitable from 3 years plus. So if you're weaning, when you're weaning a baby, you're better off to experience food through the gut on the first kind of time that they have it, rather than through the skin. So if you're putting this on it and it has oats in it, it can cause like a really allergic reaction maybe, and then maybe it can cause down the line things like a peanut allergy and all that kind of thing. They're all related to experiencing food through the skin rather than through the gut first. Okay, so the gut is the best way for food to be experienced when you're weaning. So that means that this is suitable during weaning, as well as for celiacs. So like a lot of kids who will be weaning, you know, they'd have the dribble rash, they'd have nappy rash, they'll have teething rash, all these things. So I wanted to give you an option that you could use if you are in that situation. So they're the two different ones, and they're the reasons that they're different. The second thing that's different with this one is it has no lavender essential oil. So you heard me mention there a while ago that the regular One for All Balm is suitable from 3 years plus, whereas this one, the baby one, is suitable from 1 month plus. And the reason it's suitable from 1 month plus is because it doesn't have lavender essential oil. So it's really, really super, super gentle. So if you are any bit like intolerant to any fragrance or things like that, then you have the lavender free version of it. Now it still has the lavender flowers in it because they're going to be milder than the lavender essential oil. So it gives you another option. Okay, so there are the 5 herbs that are in it. Then those 5 herbs are infused in organic apricot kernel oil. So that's one of the most nourishing oils for the skin. It's quite a thick, heavy oil, but it's really, really absorbed really well by the skin. So those 5 herbs, or 4 herbs depending on, are infused in the oil for about 6 weeks. So like the calendula is grown here, the lavender, the majority is grown here, the chickweed all comes from the garden here, the oats, obviously, like I said, are flavins. And what other one? Chamomile. So the chamomile, I grow half of it. So this year I hopefully will have all of the chamomile that I'll need. So they're in the apricot kernel oil for about 6 weeks. Then that oil is strained out. So it's like strained through a mesh to keep the herbs out of the product, so that you don't want the herbs to be in the end product, because they can go off a little bit quicker than if you have just the oil. So then that oil is mixed with organic shea butter. And that comes from a women's collective in Ghana. So I get it through Naissance UK. Well, they have a European website now, so it helps with the customs charges. But so it's a cooperative run in Ghana by a women's cooperative, and they have like built a school, and it's just an amazing kind of initiative. So I try to support that as best I can. It's really hard though sometimes with customs and things like that. But so then you have your shea butter, and then the last ingredient that's in it is your beeswax. So the beeswax that I use comes from my local beekeeper. So it is sorry, I just got a message, so I got distracted. So it's a local beekeeper. So it's Marek from Knockmeal Honey. So he keeps me the cappings off the beeswax. So basically you can have a few different types of beeswax, and the one that I use is the cappings off the honeycomb. So basically he just takes the cappings off the honeycomb, then the honey is extracted, and the beeswax is kept for me. Then you've got other types of beeswax, which is the beeswax that's on your brood, beeswax that's on other parts of the hive, which wouldn't be as clean or as pure. So this one is the best that you can get, the best type of beeswax you can get. So it makes it a really, really amazing balm. And then obviously you have your lavender essential oil in this one, and none in this one. So that's the ingredients. So that's why it makes it so nourishing for the skin. So you've got all those different ingredients. So you have your ingredients that are going to moisturize the skin. You have ingredients that are going to heal anything that's damaged or irritated, and then you have the beeswax, which is going to form a barrier on wherever it's damaged and help to kind of protect it. So like if you have, say, especially people who are working outside, or if they're washing their hands a lot, then you know if you use a water-based hand cream, that you wash your hands and it's gone straight away. So at least when you have something like a barrier balm, like the One for All Balm, it will stay on the hands. Even if you wash it a couple of times, it's still going to be there and protecting your hands. So if you have any questions, just pop them into the comment box there and I'll try and answer them for you. So what else do I need to tell you about it? So they're the ingredients that are in it, okay? So I made it originally for her for the dermatitis around her eyes, okay? But then we figured out that it actually, like, it works for everything. So that's why we call it One for All Balm. And like, I have a few people who call it Lynn's Magic Cream, which I think is a lovely name, because it's great that kids have like that little bit of kind of interaction with it and know, like, okay, can I have the magic cream if I have whatever is wrong with me? So we figured out then that it can work for cuts, burns, bites, stings, blisters, psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, any kind of irritations on your skin. So like, I would definitely recommend to try it if you have anything that's anyway irritated or inflamed on the skin, to try the One for All Balm. Now, like I said, it's not going to be a cure for it. This is just something to help manage your symptoms, because any of those things like psoriasis and eczema, they're autoimmune conditions, so you can't cure them from the outside. You can definitely help, like working with herbs and things like that through the gut, and you can help by putting on the barrier balms and things like that, but it's just to manage your symptoms rather than actually cure whatever it is that you're trying to. Now obviously with a cut or a burn it will help to cure it, but for those kind of things it won't. So yeah, you can use it for anything, any irritations. The one thing I will say is, if you're using it on a burn, is to make sure that your burn is cooled first. So like, you run it under your lukewarm water and you cool the burn down, then you would put the balm on top of it. So if you put the balm on the hot burn, what it's going to do is it's going to trap the heat basically on the burn, and it's going to just make it burn worse, to be honest, because you're keeping the heat in there. Whereas if you oops, sorry, I hit something else there. If you put the balm on the cool burn, then it's gonna heal really quickly. So then the one thing I want to show you as well, people think that this is like a lip balm and you're going to use it like a lip balm. So you're going to like rub your finger on it like this and you're going to put it on. That's not the way you need to use it. So for this, you're going to need to put a barrier on your skin. So what you do is you use your fingernail and you run it backwards, and then it scoops out, okay? And then you're going to rub it into wherever it is, and it just instantly melts into the skin and disappears. Okay, so that's the best way to use it, and you can use it as often as you need. So like, if you are using it, if you have something like eczema and you're using a steroid cream, so you can use that in the morning, you can use it in the evening, but in the meantime you've got nothing else to use, and you know the effects of the steroid will wear off after like half an hour or 20 minutes, and then you've got nothing to use. So you can use the One for All Balm then in between that, so that it will kind of lengthen out the day for you, rather than having to wait until bedtime to put on the steroid again. So we have a few different options and sizes as well, okay? So what I have is, these are the 40ml balms. You can see here, and I'll just grab one here. So this one here is then your 20ml balm. So the two sizes. So what I recommend is, if you are just trying it out on something that you're not sure if it's going to help with, try the 20ml first, or even just get in touch and you can get a sample size. The sample size is in the sample packs. You get a 10ml balm, 10ml One for All Balm, you get a deodorant, you get a serum or souffle, and a cleansing balm. So in your sample pack, so you get to try them out before you actually have buy the full size, and then you'll know whether it'll help or not. So this is your 20ml. So I recommend you try this if you're going to use it for a first aid balm. So you're going to keep it in your first aid kit, you're going to keep it in your bag, you are going to just be kind of not using it as quickly as you would if you had something like eczema here and in the back of your knees, and you're using it on larger areas of the skin. So for the larger areas, then the bigger one is better. It's just more value for you. And like, if you have really bad eczema or really bad psoriasis and you use the small one and you figure out, okay, it's really helpful, I can do you a bigger one as well. You know, I can do a custom bigger size, and I can also do a softer one if you have something that's really, really painful, and you're finding it hard to put, because the balm is quite hard. You're finding it hard to put that on the balm, if you're finding it hard to put the balm on the area that's very irritated, I can make it a little bit softer. So what it'll be is just less beeswax, less shea butter, a bit more oil, so it's a softer balm, so more like a salve. So you just have to message me and I can do that for you. What else do I need to tell you about this? Yeah, so they're the three sizes. These are the two that are on the website, under the One for All Balm tab. If you go to the samples pack, you'll get the little tiny 10ml one, which is kind of similar to the lip balm size. And then what else do I need to say? Oh yeah, so then we have the magnetic label. So that's the last kind of thing that I want to tell you about it. So the new ones, the new tins, all have the magnetic label. So it's really, really handy because it keeps it in plain sight. So I keep it on the fridge. I don't know, maybe you would have a built-in fridge or something, but any magnetic surfaces, it'll stick to it. So what I find is people are like putting it into a drawer, putting it into a bag, it's lost, it's like kids are looking for it, like we have it here, where is the one for all Balm? It's in the drawer, it's not in the drawer, it's in my bag, oh it's wherever. So by putting the magnetic label on it, it means you can stick it to the fridge, and then the kids can just have it there, and it's really easy to use because it's quite an easy tin to open, so they can pretty much do it themselves. And what I found as well with the small ones is that sometimes you put it in your bag or you put it in a pocket and it gets lost, and then, or in a drawer, and then you can find it like 6 or 7 months later and your time is nearly up, because obviously because it's a natural product, your shelf life is going to be that bit shorter than if it was a chemical filled product. So then you're left with a product that you're not going to be able to use up because the shelf life is gone, or it's gone off or whatever. So by putting the magnetic label on it, you can stick it somewhere and then you know exactly where it is. And then like I kind of like hummed and hawed about doing the magnetic label, because obviously it's not the most sustainable to have a magnetic label on something. But the reason I went for it is because that's one reason where you are not going to use the product. The product's going to be left, it's going to go off, and it gets lost. So the magnetic label will stop that happening. And then the second thing you can do is, like, I have one here actually. So it's just an empty tin that I have used up, and I have my thumbtacks in it, and I have just have it stuck on a piece of metal here on the wall, so like it's, and you can store stuff in it afterwards once you're finished with the tins, or I can take the tins back. So what I do with taking the tins back is, once you've got 10 empty jars, bottles, tins, whatever it is, you can send me a message and I'll send you a box. You send it back to me and then you get a free product. Or if you meet me at markets or anything like that, you can bring the product back, the empty jar or tin back, and I can give you 10% off your purchase. So yeah, so if you have any questions, you can pop them below. I'll put a question box on my stories as well. And I think that's everything about the One for All Balm. But like I said, do reach out if you have any questions at all. Have a good evening.